This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And happy Saturday to all those Yankee fans, baseball fans, everybody out there on the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. And of course, who are watching this at Start Spreading the News, the great Yankee website, the blog. We've been at it since 2017, wrapping up another great year of great writing, great reporting. Boy, we've been on the cutting edge of an awful lot. You cannot deny that. It's a sad day, though. It's the last Saturday of the baseball season for the Yankees. I'm always sad when the season ends. I look forward to baseball. Major League Baseball, the Yankees have been part of my life and an important part of my life since 1977, since I was 9 years old. I live with the Yankees. I somewhat die with the Yankees. I rejoice with the Yankees. I get frustrated about the Yankees. And the 2023 season was a season that was, in many regards, very, very frustrating. Now, you might watch a show like this and listen to the podcast and say, oh, it's all fun and games. It's great. And it is. But I have to say, I think this is the fourth iteration of this show. We've been having technical difficulties, and I keep starting the show and things aren't working, and then I have to start all over again. So it has been a frustrating podcast here, but it's been a more frustrating Yankees season. But again, I'm not here to talk about that today. I'm here to talk about a topic I teased a while back. It's not necessarily Yankees specific. It's more sports specific, but it's a big topic. And I think it needs to be talked about and discussed because I don't think enough people are. And I do believe that what we're seeing is a process that's going to end up hurting rather than helping sport. But before we get to that, as I like to begin each show, let's make today a great day. We have within us the ability to make every day great. Even when things look terrible, like the 2023 Yankees season, we still have to smile. We still have to look for the good. And there was good with the Yankees, if you look hard enough, I think. But in life, there are things much more important than the Yankees. And it's really being a family member, being a friend, being a positive part of your community, doing things for others. Those are the things that really matter, not baseball, not the Yankees. So how do you make each day great? Well, you do those things. You do the things that make you a great friend, a great family member, a great neighbor. You give back. I run a lot. I'm training for the New York City Marathon. It's a little over a month away at this point. And as I run, I pass people in cars and on bicycles and out walking with their spouses and out walking alone or running or pushing their baby in a stroller or playing in their front yard. Most of the time, I'd say more than 95% of the time, when I pass people and I wave at them, they wave back. They smile. They say nice things. They say, good running. Go get them. You look great. And that helps build me up as I run. And that's what we do as people. We help each other. We have to help build each other up. And when we do that, that's the good. That helps make your day great, and that helps make their day great. And that's what we should do all the time, as much as we can. But on to the Yankees and the bigger topic that I wanted to talk about today. The bigger topic. It's been a frustrating Yankee season in many ways, and I've documented all this in writing and on various podcasts, including this one. We've talked about all of the things that have gone wrong. But one thing we've talked about only a little bit, which I think is going to hurt baseball and all sports more than people realize at this exact moment, is this growing trend to force fans to subscribe to a multitude of different services in order to follow their team on a regular basis. Now, one of the great things about being a baseball fan is that baseball's with you virtually every day from April through September. The hope is that you're with your team through October as they go into the playoffs and it hopefully advance far. But for the most part, you know that your team is going to be there every day from April through September. Baseball is a part of your life through the spring and summer and into the early fall, if nothing else. But more and more, baseball teams, the sport itself, and other sports too, and specifically the Yankees, keep finding ways to take the game away from the fans. This year, the Yankees took some games and they put them on Peacock, whatever that is. I do not subscribe to any of these streaming services. The Yankees put some games on Amazon Prime. The Yankees put some games on Apple TV. In order to see any of those games, people would have had to subscribe to those 3 different services. They'd have to be a member of those 3 different services. If you're not, you don't get to see the games. In addition, Major League Baseball put some games on TBS and some games on ESPN and some games on Fox. When the Yankees formed the Yes Network all those years ago, the agreement, if not actually a handshake agreement, the basic agreement, the tacit agreement was, as Yankee fans, if you have a cable provider that gives you the Yes Network, you'll never miss a Yankee game ever again. And over time, that keeps eroding. Well, you'll get most of the games except the ones on ESPN and Fox or TBS. There was a time, now all the postseason games are on a network of some sort. There was a time when you could watch the postseason games on the Yankees channels with the Yankees announcers. The ones who took you through the season would take you through the playoffs, which makes sense. No more. But even outside of that, you can't watch all the games anymore unless you're willing to pay lots of money for various other streaming services. And I see that as a huge problem. I see that as something that's going to destroy the sport. When you take a product away from the consumer, the product is going to suffer. Boxing used to be readily available to anyone who wanted to watch the boxing matches. And then boxing went to pay-per-view and HBO and Showtime, etc. And basically, if you don't subscribe to all of those different things and you don't pay big money for the big fights, you can't watch the big fights. As a result, while Some people in the sport of boxing might be making lots of money. The sport itself has suffered. I can imagine there was a time when people would have said, oh, sure, I know who the champions in some various weight classes are. I've heard of Roberto Duran and Marvin Hagler and Sugar Ray Leonard and Muhammad Ali and Evander Holyfield, Larry Holmes, etc. I don't think most people can tell you who any of the boxing champions are today. And the reason for that is the sport has made itself unaccessible to the fans. And baseball is slowly doing that. There are going to be some big moments that happen with the Yankees that the regular fan is not going to be able to see. And once that happens, and it's not like the olden days when every game wasn't broadcast and you knew you wouldn't get to see them. You see, there's a difference. Once you're given something and then that something is taken away, you feel the sense of loss. You realize that what you once had is no longer. There's a difference between when it was years and years ago and not every game was available to every fan. Then hopefully you got to see great games, but not always. I remember Dave Righetti's no-hitter was on Cablevision or Sports Channel, whatever it was back then. I think it was called Sports Channel. Mel Allen did the game. I missed it because I didn't have cable. And so, hey, that's the way it was. But then along came the Madison Square Garden Network and then the Yes Network and this promise, in quotes, if nothing else, this promise that the Yankees would always be available to everyone. And once you give it, you can't take it away. And yet the Yankees are doing that. And there's going to be a time when something great is going to happen. And many fans, tons and tons of fans, are going to be denied the opportunity to see that great event live. It almost happened last year with Judge's home run to break Roger Maris's record. And fans are going to be denied seeing that and denied that joy. And the very natural inclination after that moment is going to be for certain fans, probably many fans, to say, you know what? I don't care. All right, so he hit the big home run. So he got the big hit. So they had the greatest comeback of all time. You didn't let me see it. You didn't let me enjoy it live. So why am I going to watch the next game? You see, this is a growing trend in sports, and it's been a big concern of mine with the Yankees this year, because basically what it does is it says to the fans, we want to take more and more from you. You need to give us more and more and more if you want to see our product. In some ways, it's the Yankees and Major League Baseball giving the fans an inappropriate gesture, saying, in a not so nice way, we don't care about you. All we care about is your money. And while we know that on certain levels, of course, that's why they play the game, to make money. We pay money to see the games. But when they say you have to give us more and more and more to see the same product, I think it becomes a big problem. And I think what it does is it's going to lead to resentment, frustration, anger, And the more games that are taken away from the fans, the more fans are going to say, well, you're going to give me that game? I don't really care. That game I can see? Yeah. Every single night when there's a game, the fan has a decision to make. That decision is, I can do something else, whatever that might be, or I can watch the Yankees. The Yankees are always going to be in competition with everything else. I can spend time with my kids. I can spend time with my wife. I can go outside. I can go on a trip. I can watch a movie. I can go out to dinner. I can go visit relatives. I can play a game. I could listen to music. I could read a book. I could write a book. There are a million things conflicting with the Yankee program every single night when the Yankee program is on. The smart thing to do would be to say, watch this. You don't want to miss it. It's too good. But when you start to turn the fans off and you say, no, 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 no. I know you've been a loyal fan for more than 40 years, but we don't really care about you. We take you for granted. So I'll tell you what. You can't watch tonight's game unless you buy this extra special thing. You are not good enough. And what that does is it gives the fan the opportunity to do something else. And you know what's going to happen? And you know what is happening? Those fans are realizing that the something else, all the something else's in the world, are more fun, are more compelling, are more interesting, are more valuable, are more meaningful than watching a silly old baseball game. And then, once that happens to enough fans enough times, even if the Tuesday game is on the Yes Network, they're going to say, you know what? I had so much fun doing that other thing. I'm not going to waste my time watching the Yankees tonight. I can follow them like I did last night. They were on Apple TV. I didn't see it, so I looked online. I saw that they won. I went on a streaming service or YouTube or something, and I saw a highlight. I saw it on Twitter, whatever. Good enough. Instead of wasting 3 hours with the team, I got my fill of the Yankees in 3.5 minutes. And I got a lot of my life back, and I started doing other things that are interesting and fun and meaningful. Not just to me, but to other people, because I'm now spending my time with other people. Think about it. And then who loses? The Yankees lose. The sport loses. Viewership will go down. And eventually, the game itself, the sport itself, will suffer when people realize that, no, I don't have to spend my whole summer with the Yankees. You, the Yankees, have taken the product away from me, the fan, and you made me realize that I don't really need your product. It's a horrible strategy, a strategy that gives big money at the start. Oh, yeah, I'm sure those streaming services are paying big bucks for the right to produce and give those games to their people. But over time, there are going to be fewer and fewer people who care. It's a bad strategy, and it's going to end up hurting the teams that use it. And the Yankees seem to be using a lot more streaming services than many other teams. It's seen as a money grab because that's what it is. We need more money. We need to take more money from the same people again and again and again. The better alternative would be to make the product more accessible to more people so you get more people enjoying the product. Movies took off. I don't have the data for this, but just in society, you know this to be a true statement. Movies took off and became even bigger once VCRs came out and people could rent movies. Not that they do that anymore, but when movies were accessible everywhere, you say, I want to see Rocky. I go to the store and I can buy Rocky. I can own Rocky, or I could rent Rocky whenever I want. You can see The Godfather whenever you want. You're talking with friends and you say, hey, have you ever seen The Shawshank Redemption? No. Whoa, what a film. I love that film. You've got to see that film. Let's go get it. Let's go rent it, or let's buy it, or whatever. Now let's just stream it. But it's the same idea. If products are accessible, people are going to use them. Now, the difference between movies and sports is part of the thrill of sports is watching it in real time as it happens. Sports are real. Movies are not. But part of the fun of sports is experiencing this all in real time, enjoying it as it happens, being part of it in some way, shape, or form. You don't get the same thrill out of watching a sporting event after it's happened, especially if you know the ending. Here comes the great comeback. Sure, you can enjoy it for its athleticism and the drama that is present, but it's not the same as seeing it live. And when sports takes it away, when the Yankees take those things away, they're only going to hurt themselves. Now, I find that same dynamic to be true over so many internet sites and through so many internet writers. I used to read all sorts of newspapers online years ago when the internet was burgeoning or blossoming or whatever. I'd read the Yankees in the New York Times and the Daily News and the Post. I'd read the Boston Globe. If the Yankees were playing the team from Chicago, I'd read Chicago Tribune or whatever. I would see what the local newspapers were saying about the game, and I'd learn other cities' perspectives of the Yankees. And now if you go to many of those newspapers, you can't read them at all. Or they take a significant amount of their articles and they put them behind a paywall. If you want to read The Athletic, paywall. ESPN has ESPN Insider, paywall. You want to see certain things on certain other baseball sites, you have to pay money in order to gain access, in order to get the data or the information. Of course, oftentimes the most exciting articles are the ones that they seem to put behind the paywall. And that's going to hurt them because the common consumer can't subscribe to the Times, the Daily News, the Post, the Athletic, ESPN Insider, and all of these other writers who are on all these other Patreon and Substack and just their own thing. Like if you want to come read my stuff, you have to pay me money specifically. Now listen, I have a Yankee site. Start spreading the news. We have been producing daily content, 3 or 4 or more articles every single day since 2017. I know what it costs. I know how hard it is to do. I know what kind of time commitment it is to put this material together. And we've never, ever put any article behind any kind of a paywall. It's all there for the fans to see. So I get it. Oh, my goodness, you don't understand how hard it is to put up on a website or do a podcast. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I live it every day. I worked full time and did it for years. It can be done. it can be done if your only thing you don't care about, the thing is if you're not just focusing on the money. And then this is the point, and we're almost out of time already, but this is the big point. People will say, well, in the past, you used to have to pay for magazines. You used to have to pay for the newspaper. You couldn't read every newspaper for free before the internet. What they're doing now isn't anything like it used to be. And guess what? Yes, it is. It's a complete difference than how it used to be. If I wanted to read the newspaper, I could read it for free because newspapers were everywhere. Your bagel shop would have the Daily News. The coffee shop would have the Post. The barber would have the Times and the Post. You'd go to the eye doctor and Sports Illustrated would be there. You go to the dentist and the Sporting News would be there. People used to share the information. You used to go to your office, your place of work, and you'd say, hey, did you see the article in Sports Illustrated? And they'd say, no, I don't get Sports Illustrated. I get Sport Magazine, or I get Inside Sports. Remember that one? Oh, really? I'll bring you the magazine tomorrow. Did you see Baseball Digest? Nah, I didn't get that one. I'll bring you the issue. I'll let you borrow it. You can keep it. We used to share information in many different ways. And even if you had no one to share with, you know what you could do? You could go to the library, and all of those things were accessible to you. If I go to the library right now and I log on to The Athletic or ESPN Insider or the New York Post behind paywall article, whatever they want to call it, Insider Post or whatever they want to call it, I can't read it. They've taken it away everywhere from everybody, except if you give them money. And guess what? We all don't have all of that money to give away to all of these different things to read all these articles because everybody wants their couple of dollars. When you take things away from people, people are going to stop caring. Period. And so what these organizations are doing, what the individual writers are doing when they put their stuff behind paywalls, what the sports are doing when they put their stuff behind paywalls and on different streaming services and take it away from the fans, what these various newspapers are doing and sporting organizations are doing is they're only shooting themselves in the foot because people will pay for some of it. But at some point, they're going to get sick and tired of paying for it. They're going to say, why am I buying this? Is it really worth my time, effort, and energy? I'm not reading all these articles, so why am I paying for them? They had a captive audience. And instead of opening their doors to those captive audiences, they have slammed the door in our faces. It's going to hurt those businesses, and it's going to hurt the sport. The Yankees, baseball, but this is a Yankee show. The Yankees should wake up, and in 2024, they should be smart. They should stop with as many of those streaming things as they can, and they should get that product out to the fans. If you let the fans see the games, the fans will care about the games. If you take the games away, the fans will stop caring. All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for being part of the show. Next week, we begin talking about the off season. It came much too soon. What a disappointment. Have a great week. Keep loving those Yankees, even as they frustrate us. And remember to look for the good, always, and to help perpetuate the good by giving goodness and kindness and love. Have a great day.